Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome back to day 3 of the Breaking Ties interview series, where we actually chat with a professional who assists those getting through the divorce process, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end. Because really we got lots of questions and we want to have those questions answered as they come along, kind of thing. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson. I am a financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And with me today is Erica Hagan. And Erica is the founder of PeacePost.io, which, for those who aren't familiar with the previous 2 days of our podcast, it's a communication tool for challenging co-parenting dynamics. And I'm going to say you're going to want to go back to the previous 2 days because they were really great information pieces and on communicating with, say, a challenging ex-spouse. And really, we want to keep the kids in mind through this whole process because that's, the most difficult aspect of co-parenting is making sure that the kids are taken care of. Welcome back, Erica, to day 3. Glad to have you on. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. And yourself?
Doing all right. The sun's out. I got to appreciate that. And so, and it's not raining because we've had some weather lately.
We have.
Now, getting back to PeacePost.io and how it helps people. And I found this next question that someone had asked pretty interesting. And that is, how might using PeacePost potentially reduce the need for legal intervention in co-parenting disputes?
Absolutely. So with PeacePost, we're trying to mitigate a lot of the really emotionally charged communication that can happen. And so if you're receiving a lot of messages from an ex-partner, a lot of times you want to share with your support network and sometimes even your attorney, and that can add up quickly. So for us, when we created PeacePost, we recognize this is a tool that you may need ongoing. So what we have is it priced as a monthly, as you go, as you need it, but it's priced that it equates to 1 year is the equivalent of 1 legal hour. So we want to make sure we're conscientious of people's, wallets, because this can be a very challenging time as you're acclimating, finances have changed, but also reduce the cost overall.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a big thing because you don't really want to spend any more money than you have to. Mm-hmm. And attorneys' billable hours are fairly pricey and it doesn't take long to get up there. So anything you can do to help reduce the cost, I think is fantastic. And, the other piece of that, I think, is with this PeacePost, from what I've learned, is that just having it there to shortcut the communication with your ex will also reduce the amount of interactions you have, which then also probably reduces the stress and tension and the lack or need for legal intervention along those lines as well. I think that's probably a fair point.
Absolutely. So with PeacePost, it's not going to be meant for everyone. PeacePost is a tool that really supports people that are dealing with very hostile, challenging situations where you might be getting toxic messages, long, lengthy responses. And so for those people that communicate well, that's beautiful. We're not the product for you. We're the product that things get muddy quickly. So what we're trying to diffuse and basically reduce what the kerosene would be. So it's going to be the neutral, child-centric responses, and it's really meant to mitigate the fights, mitigate all of that. So that's where it equates to lower legal bills, lower anxiety, and lower stress.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. That's great. Now, one of the other interesting things that we had touched on in a previous episode that I think is worth exploring, and that is, how does PeacePost help parents separate, say, their emotional responses from their communication about child-related issues?
Absolutely. So the backbone of Peace Post is utilizing a technique called Gray Rock method. And so with Gray Rock method, you are basically responding in a neutral, bland way. So think of a gray rock. It's you're talking to the rock, you're smoothing it out. So for that, we only want to answer the items that are necessary. So what are being asked? The items that are only related to the children, and basically shutting down any unnecessary conversations. So we're mitigating a lot of the other challenges and other things that could be brought in and muddy the water.
Right. And yeah, as we've talked about in previous episodes, if our listeners haven't listened to those, they really want to go back and listen to those where, part of this is just keeping things trim and neat and as clean as possible, so we can keep the focus on whatever the issue is, as opposed to throwing out a wide net. And the next thing you know, you're arguing about something that doesn't even have to relate to where you started the conversation.
Exactly.
Well, all right. We have another day in the books here. This is going to conclude our third day of the 5-day interview series. And if you haven't caught the first 2 episodes, I encourage you to go back and take a look at those, because Erica shared some really cool information on a challenging and difficult topic. And so I think it's well worth your time to go ahead and listen to those previous episodes. With that, Erica and I would like to thank you for joining us today on the Breaking Ties interview series. Should you have any questions for her, her information is going to be in the description. So go ahead and look her up, reach out to her, and she's happy to help. And as always, divorce is not the end of your story. As Erica and I know, it is the start of your next great chapter. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Bye.